G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Bitcoin update. Brief one today. Not a massive amount has happened, unfortunately. Not much has changed. It's not necessarily unfortunate, but it just is what it is, I suppose. So we'll start off a recap of what's gone on. We've seen a fake out above 28.6k in every single bull market Bitcoin has. It generally forms a horizontal support level. In 2014, that horizontal support level was at 418 USD roughly. It was at around 6,000 in 2018. It was around 28.6 thousand in 2021. We got above that very briefly. We closed above it, and we actually closed back below it on the last weekly candle we saw just a couple of days ago. So it was a fake out, which is not ideal. And obviously the bears have celebrated that slightly, but I still am of the opinion the macro is in a very good position. I think that the macro, in terms of, well, we can just bring it up. Yeah, we've done a fake out above a major level. Yeah, that's not particularly good. But if we look at what we've got below us here, we've got the 50 EMA on the weekly. We've got the 50 SMA on the weekly. We've got the 200-week SMA, the green line there. That is one of the strongest moving averages Bitcoin has in its entire price history. It marked the bottom on both previous bear markets. It also marked a major resistance zone in this bear market we saw here. Yeah, we dropped below it. But it was a major resistance zone, hence it's a major support zone still. It's still relevant is the point. If we're testing it for resistance, it's still relevant. We only tested it for resistance about 2 months ago, so it's still very much fresh in the minds of Bitcoin investors. And that's below us as well. We've also got the weekly Gaussian channel. We've got the bull market support band. We've got a bunch of stuff below us here. Major levels. And on top of all of that, we have a pink uptrending macro support line stemming back from 2013. That, yeah, it's pretty far below us. Yeah, it's all the way down here at, 18K, probably 18.5K, but it's still there. Okay, we flip to the daily chart, we can see we've got an abundance of support coming through from 25.2K to 26.7K. We've got, and on a more short-term analysis, I'll get into that in a second, actually. The fact of the matter is this, right? Yeah, we saw a fake out. We saw a big move to the upside. It was rejected. We've also seen the most bullish Q1 Bitcoin has seen in many years. We saw the second most bullish January Bitcoin's seen in its entire price history. At some point, you have to accept the fact that we're going to correct, okay? And this is what we're doing right now. And I see this as a perfectly healthy correction. I think we were overextended. I think that perhaps the news that came out with the bank bailouts, which drove Bitcoin upwards after this correction, was too bullish for Bitcoin. Perhaps we moved up too quickly. And we saw many signs of exhaustion on the way up, volume downtrending rapidly throughout the entire move from March. And we still went upwards after that started occurring from 22K all the way to 31K. So yeah, I mean, the move was down to the downside was destined. And we're seeing it right now. I don't think it's a reason to be overly bearish. I think the macro is still incredibly good. I sound like a broken record, but that's really all there is to say in terms of the long term. What I can say that is fresh is this, and this is the reason I'm making this video. It's a very small reason, but it is an important reason. We have formed a short-term structure, okay? So right now, what Bitcoin is doing is it's come down. It's broken down below the yellow uptrending line from October, okay, which is bad. But again, there's only so long you can hold an uptrending line of that trajectory for, and I think a breakdown was eventually going to happen, so it makes sense that it did happen. But what we are doing now is we're holding the 50 EMA for support. The 50 EMA is that blue moving average you see on the screen there. If you're looking historically, what you can see is the 50 EMA is generally the last blockade before a big drop we see on Bitcoin. What you can see is that, generally speaking, after we lose it, I'm circling a few zones, we see big corrections. Before we lose it, the corrections are quite small. After we lose it, we see very big corrections. And the same can go to the upside as well. Once we get above it, we generally see a big move. Not always, but sometimes. Just like everything in T8, not always, but sometimes. And so using that logic and using what we've seen in the past, historically speaking, with the 50 EMA, we can assume that if we do lose this level on a daily candle close, we will see another leg to this correction. As of right now, we are still holding it for support. And so technically speaking, this could be the bottom of this correction. Okay, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is at all. I actually don't know where the bottom is. All I know is that the bottom will be above 25.2K. I don't know exactly where it will be though. But I'm just saying at this point in time, with 1, 2, 3, 4, and going on 5 daily candle closes above this level, while we are forming a triangular formation, albeit a bearish pennant formation, it's still support. It's still a triangle formation that we're forming here on the 4-hourly chart. It could very well be the bottom right here. Now, it also could be, just like what we saw here in March, okay? It also could be something similar to the zone we saw here, where we see some consolidation before another leg to the downside. which would make perfect sense. Both scenarios would, okay? So if we saw what we're seeing here in, what we saw in March, we're seeing that again, which would make sense because we've got a bearish pennant formation. We could see another leg down, but even if we see another leg down, I just brought up an abundance of support zones on the weekly chart that would catch us, that support this already existing horizontal level between 25.2K and 26.7K. So guys, I will tell you this right now, and the reason I'm making this video is quite simple. All I need to say is this. Okay, Bitcoin is forming a bearish pennant formation. I think you should hold back on your shorts. I think you should hold back on your longs. I think you should look at this pennant formation, and when that pennant formation breaks out, perhaps it could even be this. Realistically speaking, it could even be a descending channel formation, something like that, okay? Which would be more bullish. And that's why I'm not willing to say Bitcoin's going to break down further yet, because it could also be a descending channel formation, which also would be bullish, which could mean a break to the upside. On the occurrence that it's that, we'd break to the upside most likely, and we'd see the bottom in this correction. On the occurrence that it's a pennant formation with a wick to the downside, with a fake out, we could break downwards further. As of right now, the short term is very uncertain. And again, I'll say to you this, I'll finish the sentence this time. Don't take any longs, don't take any shorts. If I was you, at least, I can't give you financial advice, but I'm not taking any longs, I'm not taking any shorts. I will take a long position if we break out of this yellow line here, because that is the only valid line in this structure. If we break downwards, I won't take a short position because, as I said before, we could be in a descending channel formation. The only valid position you should be you can take at this point in time, again, not financial advice, the only valid position I see as valid here is a long take if we actually break that upper level. I don't think that breaking this lower level would constitute a valid means for a short, because I don't think that level is as objective as the downtrending line here. Again, if we break this line, that would be a reasonably optimal long position, and you would take that long position up to 28.6K or up to this downtrending orange line, which formed a previous structure. As you can see, it formed this kind of wedge formation over here. So short term, kind of, to be honest with you, is untradeable at this point in time. And even if you wanted to take a short, you don't really have much room to take a short, because the nearest support zone's down here at 26.7, which is only a few hundred USD below where the breakout would be. So there really isn't much tradability in the short term. I think this is kind of like a no man's land, and I think I'm going to name the video that for Bitcoin. It is pretty much a no man's land in the short term. Longer term looks decent, as I said before, but short term looks a bit rough. I just wanted to update you guys on that so you don't get caught in a bad trade, and I think that's worth saying. Monthly chart, guys, it is very much worth noting. 5 days until the monthly candle close. We've discussed this before. We have a critical level on the monthly chart, the 21 moving average, the 21 exponential moving average, the 21 EMA, I should say. And that is, I'll bring it up right now, this blue line here. What you will notice is that every time we drop below this blue line, we see the second leg to the correction. Our first leg of the correction finds support on a red horizontal line in each bull market. We drop below the blue line, we enter the second leg, and we bottom out on the yellow horizontal line. As of right now, we are testing that blue line to get back above it, which would put us back into bullish market territory, not bull market, but bullish market territory. Okay, and as of right now, we need to close a monthly candle over 27.6K. If we fail to do so, we could be looking for some further correction to the downside. It is very important that we get that monthly candle close. I also want to say that there is extra macro support if you're unconvinced of the macro support we have. You can even see on the monthly chart here on the RSI, we have a major macro level at 44. If we were to go down further on the price action, we would find support on that monthly RSI, and that would line up with support zones stemming on the weekly chart to things like the bull market support band, to things like the Gaussian channel, etc. We have an abundance of support on the macro. I don't know how far I can, I don't know how much I can repeat that, but it's just incredibly true. I mean, the amount of support we have on the macro is obscene. That doesn't mean it has to hold, doesn't have to hold. I think it will, okay? I personally think it will, of course, because I'm a believer in the 4-year cycle theory, and I think that in order for the 4-year cycle to remain active, we can't be seeing a new low, and I think if we lose too much macro support, we will be likely to go to a new low. Doesn't have to hold, though, okay? But it's just very likely to hold. In the same way, when if you're digging up to major resistance, it's very likely to get rejected. If you're digging down to major support, it's very likely you'll bounce, okay? That's very, very simple to me. Bitcoin dominance, I wanted to discuss briefly as well. Okay, this chart represents Bitcoin's dominance in the market in regards to, or should I say in comparison to every other coin. It's at 47% currently, which means 47% of the money in the cryptocurrency market is in Bitcoin, while the remaining 53% is sitting in altcoins. If this thing goes up, it means Bitcoin is dominating the market. If it goes down, it means altcoins are dominating the market. As of right now, it has been in a horizontal channel formation for in excess of 2 years. It is looking to break that to the upside. We did see a fake out and rejection, and so right now, Bitcoin hasn't completely asserted its dominance in the market, and we could be seeing at this point in time, and we have been seeing for the last few weeks, room for altcoins to kind of move upwards independently and move downwards independently and do their own thing. Just know that eventually that will come to an end, just like the previous bear market. And, just like the previous, 2019, 2020, which is what we're reflecting right now on the price charts, we did see a spike in Bitcoin dominance, and that is when Bitcoin outperformed altcoins. Be prepared for that to happen eventually. It hasn't necessarily started yet. I mean, technically, if you're going from a lows, it started in September 2022, but generally speaking, I mean, we're still in the same structure. So once we get above this red level, it will truly kick off. So I do not think, and I've said this a few times, I personally, well, it's not my opinion, actually, it's facts. So I don't even need to label it my opinion. It is not favorable for you as an investor to invest in altcoins at this point in time until after the halving on a generalized scale. That doesn't mean there won't be exceptions. Of course, there'll be exceptions, just like everything, but exceptions don't make the rule. Altcoins generally do not outperform Bitcoin until the halving and afterwards. So keep that in mind. If you're an altcoin investor, keep that in mind. And as the Bitcoin dominance chart looks to copy what it did here in 2019, 2020, you have to keep that in mind because eventually it will spike upwards, and that's pretty, it's not certain, but it's very, very likely. In the same way that the 4-year cycle is not certain, but it's very, very likely. It's played out over and over and over again, and we can expect that similar cycles lead to similar things in the Bitcoin and altcoin markets. So that's very much worth noting as well. But with that, guys, I'll leave you there. I hope you found some knowledgeable, some helpful information in this video today. It was a bit of a short-term update, and I think it's very much important that we do these short-term updates, even when there's not much to talk about in the macro, because you do need to stay informed of what's happening in the market. And if you start, disregarding short-term updates, you end up losing track of what's going on in the macro. Short-term reflects macro. It's very important to note that. So, guys, before we end it, we've got a few things here. We've got, for example, the campaign on the BitGet exchange. You might be familiar with it by now. I'm not giving away. BitGet is awarding some of my subscribers 1,750 USDT in total for completing various tasks and doing various things using my referral link. If you sign up using my referral link, you get a chance to partake in those rewards. We're splitting it up into 3 groups. One person will be getting 1,000 USD. 5 people will be getting 50 USDT. And I think 5 people will be getting 500 USDT, which totals 1,750. So if you sign up using my referral link on BitGet, you get a chance to gain an entry into that kind of campaign there. That's ending in 2 days. You have 48 hours to do that. And guys, guess what? If you sign up using my referral link, you get a 15% discount on trading fees for life anyway, so you should be doing it regardless if you want a cheap exchange. It's 5 times cheaper than Binance, and with that bonus you're getting from my referral link, it's pretty much the cheapest exchange on the market. So go ahead and do that if you're interested. And guys, check out the Crypto Academy courses. If you want to learn how to trade, this is the place to do it. 10-unit course, become a trader. You can learn how to trade, learn everything about charting, learn everything about technical analysis that you need in one simplified 10-unit course, taking you from a beginner level to a proficient, profitable career trader if you want to become that level. And then finally, guys, the VIP group. We trade altcoin trading signals every second day on the VIP group on Telegram. We've been very profitable in Q4 2022, very profitable in Q1 2023. We've released our trading results for both of those quarters, and if you want to see those trading results, you can check them out in the description below. I'll leave an access link to a group with all the information and the results, and you can decide whether it's right for you. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.